speaking of fun, though, let's get into our NBA playoffs, Brett, that have been a ton of fun. And on Thursday, we're right back at it, and the Nuggets are in Portland facing off against the Blazers in Game 6. And I think they are disrespected with this spread, Brett. 5 points? 5 points. This entire series, the line's been -1.5 in Denver's favor, pretty much. And then they go out and win in double overtime against Portland, and they get repaid by that with a 5 point underdog spread in Portland. No, give me Denver +5. Absolutely give me the Nuggets here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all this line is telling you, Higgins, is that Portland's going to win the game and force a game seven. And the book just didn't want to get beat on that. So it seems like they made a little bit of a business decision here and tried to get some money on the Denver side. And, you may be a winner because of it. But I found another angle, Higgins, because to your point, 5 points is way too big for me to be backing Portland in a series where it's been 1.5 the whole time. But I do like Portland with their backs up against the wall. I also like LeBron James with his back up against the wall, but the sports books do too at -135. So Higgins, my big brain was working, and I combined the two and said, "Give me two game sevens, Higgins, and a +155 payout." And it's a parlay. It's a lot more risky. I need to win both ends, but I think Portland and the Lakers defend home court. We get some game sevens. Everyone wins, Higgins.
And you're talking about both home teams you're backing. So I like it in both sense. You're picking both favorites, both home teams, both teams that need to force a game seven. Absolutely. I like that pick. I couldn't find myself a bet that I like with the Suns Lakers setup right now. That over under is tempting me at 206.5, but it's been such a battered and bruised series. I don't know if I could take that over even with how low it is. But there is also a Saturday game that we have a line for, Brett. The Bucks and the Nets. This is a semifinal round in the East between two very formidable opponents, and we got Giannis going against the trio. I think the Nets are going to run through this series, to be honest, but the Bucks continue to surprise me as someone that doesn't ever seem to give them the credit they probably deserve.
The Bucks are a good team, Higgins, and
I know,
they
I'll be
have
honest, they are.
they have one of the best players in the world, a two-time MVP, while the Nets have two separate one-time MVPs. So, same number of MVPs for each team. Crazy. Uh, but I like this series. I would probably lean Brooklyn if you wanted to do a series bet, Higgins. That's not something I typically find myself betting on, although, maybe that's a market I should start exploring more
The Nets are minus 200 favorites here in Oregon.
in the series. Yeah, so I mean, that seems doable for me. -200 isn't something I'm really interested in laying though. So maybe I'd get creative and take the Bucks and try and fade the Bucks out every game live or something, and try and do some creative betting. But it should be a great series, Higgins. You're right.
And we did just find out what the other Eastern Conference series is going to be, Brett. It's 76ers versus the Hawks. Atlanta just finished off New York in the first round, so we're going to see that pairing, even with the news that we just got of the Embiid tearing his meniscus actually recently. So we'll see what that means for him and the Sixers. But Sixers still minus 160 favorites in the series, -4 favorites in game one.
Yeah, -4 in game one. I might even find myself on the Hawks as this thing gets closer to tip off, Higgins. I don't know if I really like Embiid with the hurt knee. Capella and John Collins played really well in the Knicks series. Obviously, we saw what Trey Young can do. Ben Simmons, a little bit of a different animal defensively, but Hawks +4 with a beat up best player on the other side. You gotta be leaning that way early. I mean, I wouldn't bet this till we continue to get a slightly more information on the Joel Embiid situation, but that's where my early lean is for sure.
I absolutely agree. We need a little more clarity. Need to get a little more closer to game time with Embiid in that game before I can bet on that one either.